You're all here to see him. I've known him. He's one of my oldest friends in comedy. I've known him for 17 years. I'm so glad to see how well he's doing. I've loved him. I will always love him. Give it up for the very funny Zoltan Kaszas, everyone.
Some excitement. Yay! Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I love it. You guys are trying, but it is Wednesday, isn't it? You can't fight it. You feel it in your bones. You're like, yeah, what is missing? Oh my God, there's still 2 more days left before fun happens. I forgot about that. One more time for Rui and Billy. Make it loud for them. I like that. I love that introduction. I love him, and I will always love him. And he just made eye contact. That's who he is in the back, by the way. He just goes, yeah, ma'am, did you know about the home? He's like my smartest, dumbest sounding friend. I don't know if anyone has that in your friend circle where you're like, wait, what'd you just say? And then you Google it, and you're like, are you a genius? He's like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. He's like Boomhauer from King of the Hill, where it's just like ramblings, but every once in a while we're like, wait a second, did you just solve a problem? What was... I don't know, man. Sometimes I just... But I love that dude. He watched me punch a guy in the face once, so that was fun. Yeah, I've only punched one guy in the head, and he was there for it. And but it was a sucker punch. I waited till he wasn't looking at me, and then it's a street fight. We're not fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. This was outside a bar, and he cornered me. And then after we got in the car, Billy didn't say anything to me. He just goes, man, that guy was real big. I was like, oh my God, he was big. He's like, yeah, I can't believe you did that. I love that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for showing up on a Wednesday. I really appreciate it. A lot of, and it rained. Honestly, they told me the show was sold out, and I'm like, yeah, but it rained. So we'll see if it's really sold out. Because, this is Southern California. I saw the rain, and I'm like, do we have to go do the show? I'm a fair weather. I like postcard weather. That's when I leave the house. When I see it's wet, you can't drive in that. I drive up from San Diego up here, and it's just, I don't know what, like California roads are made out of what they make urinals out of. Where it's like the liquid hits it and it just sprays up instead of soaking it in, and you're like, first of all, why would you make urinals that way? Because my pants are here, but why would you make roads that way? We got it, and it's just and I don't drive well in it. I'm not one of those people yeah, no one knows how to drive. I'm part of the problem. Something happens when the sun goes down and it starts raining. We're like, where did the lanes go? And then my car still sees the lanes. They're like, they're right there, buddy. Everything's fine. I'm like, I don't see them. And I can never get the wipers at the right pace. It never rains at the intensity. I need intermediate settings. The delay settings where they're like, do you mean boing boing? Or do you mean boing boing? And I'm like, in between that. That's the one I need. And it's never right. It's always like, that's too many droplets. That's too many droplets. And then it's like, how about now? And you're like, no. That's why I don't do the intermediate. I keep my finger right on it, and I'm like, now! 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 That's... The machines have never figured it out. I need manual control. That's who I am. Don't even get me started on automatic windows, all right? They go too fast or too slow. I'm looking for something a little cooler. Give me a hand crank. Yeah, that was a drive, man. I always love coming up here because it's and I know people have picked on Ontario so far tonight. I'm not here to pick on your town, all right? But it is an in-between town, okay? It's in between, because there's a lot of people that live here, and there's a lot of people headed to Vegas, and there's a lot of people headed to Palm Springs, and then some people were like, we're living here. So it's just a mixture. And that's why it's crazy, because they mixed the 15 and the 10, and then there's the 91, and people are like, I don't know. And it's a mess out there. Because I've been coming to this club for a long time. I have a lot of history at this club. I was once heckled by a gang member that was sitting right around there, and he had an eye patch. I'll never forget this. He had an eye patch, and not like one you get at a hospital. This was like a pirate's eye patch. And I was like, what happened to your eye? And I shouldn't ask that, apparently. I thought that was a fair question to ask, because that's like a pirate's eye patch. I don't think they hand that out at the emergency room. You know, they give you like a proper look, and he just had a pirate's eye patch. And I'm like, what's up with the eye? And he just started yelling, and he got up and doing gang signals, and I was like, I'm like, is that what happened to the eye? Like, was it gang related? And I was like, please get me off this stage. I've had terrifying moments. I got a concussion at this comedy club. I was beat up by 2 professional wrestlers. Back in 2009, they were trying to shoot like a demo for a TV show, like an Extreme Gong Show type of thing. And then, so I was supposed to come up as a comedian. And like the idea was that we do poorly and these wrestlers scare us off. And so the first 2 comedians did poorly and the wrestlers came up, scared them off. And then I was like, I'm not gonna suck. Like I was supposed to, I'm like, I saw a packed crowd. I don't get to perform in front of packed crowds. And I was like 21 and I'm like, I'm gonna do good. And then so I went on stage and it's going good. And then the wrestlers come to kick me off and the crowd was like, what? We like him. But they had to stick to the script, and they threw a chair in my face. And I'm here to tell you, it's not fake. All right, it wasn't a magic chair. They went to Home Depot before. It had the receipt still on it. It came flying. He hit me so hard, snot flew out of my nose, and I wasn't sick. So this came from like. I didn't just get over a cold. I had not been sick for many months. This came like deep in my sinuses, and it just went, rah! And I remember I was on the ground right there, and there's a lady right where you are, and it just went, gross! And I was like, and then they picked me up and they put me on a table, and then Rob Van Dam picked up a man named Sabu and dropped him on me. And what a disaster. That was my first concussion. And I didn't know that. I didn't know, concussions, we know about concussions now. This is 2009 when, like, the NFL was fun and, like, you could, like, drill a quarterback and people were like, kill him. People were into that. And so they definitely weren't going to care about a comedian. So I've had a lot of history in this mall. Gang member, got some concussions. It's been good. That's why I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. And you guys are like, it's Wednesday. Why don't you calm down? I don't know, I guess that's the day and age where this is the only choices you have. You either like focus on yourself or you watch the news and go on social media. And I'm like, I'll just focus on this storm. Every time I turn on the news, the planes are falling out of the sky. And I'm like, that's how I do work. I don't know what happened to planes. What happened to planes in the last month? Planes are like, I don't know. And they're like, what? How do you know? They've been flying so good for 100 years. And they're like, we forgot. And that helicopter's like, up? No. And then I know it's scary to talk about. I got a flight on Friday, all right? So I'm thinking about it. I'm looking out there, because sometimes you're flying and you see another plane and you're like, where's that one going? Is that one coming? Hey! Just do a U-turn, man. You don't need to cut over all these lanes of traffic. Those are the 2 options you have. That's where we are at life. Like, I don't know. I hung out with my friends at the Super Bowl, and I don't know. I can't tell if they're sad or just 37. But my friends just have like this unshakable sadness to them that I think I have too. And we're just like, how's it going? They're like, pretty good. Taking the boat out next week. And you're like, yeah. You're like, yeah. And I'm like, that should be happy, right? And they're like, yeah, I'm having a great time. And I'm like, oh my God, am I looking at myself? Like, do you ever catch a reflection of yourself you're not ready for? Like, you know, you just like a quick one, you're like, whoa, oh, that person's oh, that's me. All right. Like that shocking reflection, you're like, man, warn me next time you're gonna show me myself. I had to pee too. I had to pull over on the 405 and pee when everyone was doing 7 miles an hour, which it's so bad. It sucks. We've all been there. You know, you don't have time to pull over because then the roads right off the interstate are also backed up. So if you pull over to pee at like a Starbucks, you got to buy some. They're going to have to give you a code. Then you're going to have to go back. What was it? 3578? 3578? Hey, look at me. Is it 3578? My teeth are floating here, buddy. We got to be on the same page. And then you got to run back and do that. And then you got to get back in the car and then wait in 7 mile an hour to get back onto the interstate to do less speed. And then I'm like, I'm just going to urinate on the interstate. And it's such a vulnerable feeling to just be on the interstate. And I open the door, like, yeah, that'll give me some privacy. So I'm just peeing behind my own door. And I'm like, yep, this adulthood, you know? And it's slow enough that I could hear, like, someone rolled down their window and went, ugh! And I'm like, man, you got wet a little to yell that. Because there's an atmospheric river out there. I've never had to put on a raincoat to go pee before, but I had my little hood on. I was wet. It was all from the rain. I have impeccable aim in all the elements. I like it. This room is everything in this mall is too big for what this town is. Including the size of your comedy club. You're like, we need 500 seats. It's like, calm down, all right? What's the other thing you got going on? The Strawberry Festival? Calm down. It's too much mall. It's too much comedy club. Let's reel it in. I do like your Strawberry Festival. I remember I lived in LA for a short time, and my buddy grew up in Camarillo, and he was like, buddy, I'm going to take you to the Strawberry Festival. I'm like, what's that? And he goes, dude, we go over there, we drink, we smoke in the parking lot, and then we eat a bunch of strawberries. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. And then we did all those things, and we went in, and I'm like, oh yeah, but there's kids. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind that this would be a family event. I was 21. Remember being dumb at 21? And you're like, yeah, we're going to get all messed up and just plow strawberries on a Saturday afternoon. And then there's just kids on like strawberry-shaped seesaws. And they're wearing strawberry hats. And I'm like, you didn't tell me there's going to be kids here. And he's like, yeah, what'd you think? I don't like being messed up around children. I feel weird because I always like, anytime I'm like a little off kilter and then there's kids around, I always want to be like, stay in school, you know, like something. And you don't need to say that. You don't need to say that. But